Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Huffer from Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy. And this is a figure that I have been waiting for what seems like years at this point. Every time they do a Huffer or a Pipes, it's always a repaint of like a Legends Class Optimus Prime or something really lazy that maybe they can be bothered to put a new head on there or something like that. But the whole body just looks like Optimus Prime, and it doesn't make any sense. I think it was back in, I want to say, Combiner Wars? It feels like a while. Was the last time they just took, like, the Legends class Optimus Prime, whatever the most recent one that was kicking around, repainted it orange and called it Huffer, and then repainted it blue and called it Pipes. That's not how you do this. This is an actual, true Huffer. It looks like Huffer. It transforms into his alt mode. It looks like him. I'm very excited. So let's take a look at the packaging. Really nice artwork here. Obviously robot mode, vehicle mode here for Huffer. You have that exploding volcano motif going on in the background there. You have the standard Kingdom group shot over here on this side. Not really too much going on the top or the bottom. And then if we spin around, again, we have the robot mode and the vehicle mode in this kind of cave painting aesthetic that they have going on here, which is actually pretty cool. So pretty cool packaging. Very excited to finally get a true Huffer. Let's get him out of the box and let's take a closer look. So here's Huffer out of the packaging, and he looks fantastic. I mean, they absolutely nailed him. He looks so good. Exactly like he appeared in the cartoon. Really nice job. The robot mode is pretty flawless. The only kibble he has is this front section of the truck, but that's exactly what he's supposed to have, because that's exactly what he looked like on the cartoon and how the original toy transformed and everything like that. So very, very well done. Taking a closer look, I love the Autobot symbol there on the chest. You have that lighter purple on top of the darker purple. The head sculpt looks great. He's got the blue eyes, the silver painted face. Really looks sharp. I really love him. Articulation wise, you can move this a little bit, so if you need to get in here to move the head around, you can. It's on a ball joint, so you can rock it forward and back. Not really so much side to side, but of course it can rotate. And then, like I said, you can kind of, I think in the packaging it comes a little bit closer, but that kind of hinders the shoulder articulation. So you can kind of just like, tilt it back just a little bit so you can get full range of motion here with the shoulders. You do have a hinge, so you can do up and down, move front to back. You have a bicep swivel. You have 90 degrees in the knee. Nothing in the wrist because of the way it transforms. Waist swivel you have right here. Then you have out to the side, kick about that far, and then front and back. Thigh swivel, I would say over 90 degrees in the knee because of the transformation. And then, of course, you have the ankle tilt. So, really nice articulation for this guy. Really, really fun. I love him. I really, really do. And like I said, you can move it up and down if you want. You can kind of compact it as close as you want if you like that look. I kind of like to put it about there. That way you still get that, familiar shape of his G1 design, but you can still get nice movement with the shoulders there. He does come with two accessories. This, like, claw type thing, which really just kind of becomes another flatbed for his truck. But you can go ahead and you can see he's got two ports on his arms here, so you can peg that into either one if you like, kind of use it as a shield. And then he also comes with a gun, which of course you can just peg into his hand, no problem. So he definitely comes decked out, ready for battle. And I kind of like this claw-looking shield because it almost kind of fits him into the like primal kingdom aesthetic. If he's battling beasts, he's got something that kind of resembles a claw, so he almost kind of fits the motif. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's kind of what it feels like, and I think that's kind of cool. But overall, he looks absolutely fantastic. And real quick before we get to the transformation, I wanted to bring in some of his other deluxe mini-bot buddies just for, kind of a fun little comparison group shot. You can see he's a little taller than Bumblebee, about the same size as Warpath. So they're really just kind of going back and doing all of the mini-bots in deluxe scale now instead of Legends scale, which I'm okay with as long as they work. I think all three of these work pretty well, so I'm happy with it. But I'm very happy with this Huffer. Like I said, I've waited a long time for a Huffer that actually looks like Huffer instead of Optimus, so I'm thrilled with this. But yeah, let's go ahead, let's get into his transformation. Transformation for this guy is actually pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult. You're going to kind of lift this. I like to just kind of roll it back so it's not in the way. you're going to bring the arms, and this will kind of unpeg and come down here. And you can see that there's a tab spot here on the shoulder, and then there's a tab here on the waist. So this is going to kind of come down and tab into place down here. Well, actually, before we do that, let's just hinge these down and kind of have them sit here for a moment, because this whole section has to pop out. And so these guys will kind of, now because of how the shoulders work, you can kind of still keep them down there so that they're out of the way, which is nice. I guess technically you probably could leave them pegged in, but just to make it easier, I don't peg them in yet. And then you're just going to pop these wheels out here that we're hiding behind the chest. And then you're going to spin his head 180 degrees. And then you're just going to close this back up, keeping the arms / smokestacks up there. Now you can go ahead and peg them into the waist once that's all back up where that's supposed to go. And it's a little easier said than done, mostly just because it's hard to get it to line up. And it's a little difficult to see what you're doing. Come on, get in there. All right, well, I'll get that pegged in later. Anyway, you're going to bring this down. Let me see. Am I doing this correctly? Yeah, hold on. I'm going to rotate the arms like this and then fold the fists in. And then you're going to see that there are 2 tabs right here, and they're going to tab in right there. So you're going to bring this down, and then they're going to tab into the arms. There we go. And then that's pretty much the entire front section of the truck. You're going to flip these around. Make sure you have your ankle tilts pointing straight forward. And then these are going to flip around and peg to the front like that. And then you're just going to rotate that around just like that. And there you go. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't think I have that quite pegged in where that's supposed to go, but I will figure that out. I don't know why this is giving me so much trouble. I mean, you don't really have to peg it all the way in. Honestly, it'll still go, but it's going to bother me. So I'm going to get that pegged in, and then we'll take a closer look. So here is Huffer's little truck mode, and it looks pretty fantastic. Like I said, very reminiscent of what he looked like in the cartoon. The original toy wasn't this sophisticated or fancy by any means. It was a very, very basic, you know, kind of the arms flipped around from here, and then you just pulled the legs down. So this definitely looks a lot better. Now, unfortunately, I don't have it handy, but my understanding is that Optimus's trailer, Earthrise Optimus's trailer, can peg into one of these right here. So that way you can have him carry the trailer like in that in the More Than Meets the Eye 3-parter. So like I said, unfortunately I can't verify it, but I believe that is true. I just don't have that handy to demonstrate that here, but I do believe that pegs in right there. Now with his accessories, you have this claw piece, and this can peg in right here. So that just kind of adds to his little flatbed right there. The other thing that's kind of neat, his gun actually splits in half. And you wouldn't know it just by looking at it, but it actually does. If I can figure out how to get it to actually split in half. There's a seam right down the center. So there you go, that splits in half. And then you can see that there's an obvious tab slot right here. And then there are these tabs on the side. So we just go ahead and tab that on there. There we go. And tab this one on here. And that just kind of gives, like, you know, small walls to the flatbed, which is kind of neat to kind of make them like a full pickup truck. I think that's kind of cool. I kind of wish that it was the other way around, that the orange side was facing on the inside, but I guess they're trying to keep it cohesive with the rest of the truck, so I guess I get that. But I just think that's kind of neat. And by no means do you have to use that. You can take this whole thing completely off and just leave them like this if you want a definite more G1 look. I also like the tinted light blue plastic for the windows. I think that works really well. He rolls okay, but it does kind of feel like I don't know, this, I feel like you want to kind of bend it like this because it feels like this kind of goes up and the wheels don't feel like they're on the exact same surface, but he does actually roll pretty well, so maybe it's just an aesthetic thing and my eyes are just kind of playing tricks with me. But see how it just seems like he curves like a banana. I don't know. It just, it's a little weird. But overall, I really love it. I think they did a great job. It's a simple transformation, but it totally works. I think Huffer is pretty perfect. I mean, as I said earlier, we haven't gotten a proper Huffer in some time. We always just got whatever easy, tiny little Optimus Prime toy they could repaint and just dump out there and call it Huffer. And I was really bummed about that because Huffer's a cool little dude and he really deserved his own proper figure. So I'm really happy that he finally got one. And they nailed it. They did a great job. The color scheme's great. The paint applications are good. The head sculpt's good. I love the accessories, how they kind of add to his truck mode to give him almost like a pickup truck feel, which I think is really neat. The claw aesthetic to that shield, kind of fits him into the Kingdom line, which I think is kind of a neat idea. But you don't have to use it if you don't want to. You can completely remove it. So if you want the truly G1 look, you can attain it. It's just a great little figure. I think he's fantastic. I was opposed at them kind of redoing all the mini bots as deluxes at first because they had done most of them in the like Legends scale, and I thought that those were pretty perfect and in scale with the others. But I'm coming around to the idea because they just keep giving us fantastic figure after fantastic figure, and Huffer here is absolutely no exception. Now, I'll be very interested to see what they do when they go to repaint this into pipes, because I'm sure it's going to happen. But they transformed very differently. They were the same mold, but while the truck, the hood of the truck sits here, and the arms for the original toy kind of swung out and you pulled the legs down, pipes transformed much the opposite way, where this rotated onto the back and then you pulled the legs down and then just had the arms swivel out. So this doesn't really have the capability to rotate all the way around. It doesn't seem like it, but I feel like they could add like a longer piece here so that it could, and then have the head, in here somewhere that could pop out. So I'll be very interested to see what they do with that. I'm hoping they don't. I mean, here's the thing: if they take just this, repaint it blue and call it pipes, I won't be destroyed. I'll still buy it and I'll still be okay with it. But I would love if they take the time to make this rotate onto the back, and maybe you could have the waist swivel around, because this already can, I think, rotate 180 degrees. So if you could do something like maybe swivel that around like that, and then have this kind of rotate to the back, and it would be easy enough to just kind of bring the hands around and kind of rotate them like this. Obviously, you would just have to change it around a little bit, but I feel like it's possible. It's not that terrible. They've done things like that before. I'm thinking of like Universe Sunstreaker / Sideswipe, where they kind of used the front of it for one and the back of it for the other, and that kind of worked. So I'm thinking there's something they could probably do there, and I'll be very interested to see what they do when they turn this guy into pipes, because I'm sure it's coming, and I'm definitely excited for that as well. I always liked pipes. I had him when I was a kid. I didn't have Huffer when I was a kid, but I had pipes, and he was definitely a favorite of mine. So very excited. Hopefully that happens. But yeah, this little guy is great. I definitely recommend picking him up if you can. And now I just kind of need a deluxe minibot Brawn to go with him, because I feel like those two are always kind of partners in crime. So hopefully that is not too far on the horizon, because I'm definitely going to need that as well. Let me know what you guys think about this figure in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.